Hello, Alexander. Really appreciate your time to join me here for this interview. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thank you.
Awesome.
So, the reason I invited you on is because in the freelancing channel, I saw a post from you where you generated a business making 3.5K a month at the moment. Obviously, you're scaling it from the skills you learn in the real world. So I'll want to go into that a bit later on. For now, I'd like to begin with what was your life like before joining the real world?
Well, before joining the real world, to be honest, I didn't have any like-minded people like to work in conjunction with. Most people that I knew, like they didn't really want to work hard or like make more money than their peers. And it's kind of funny, but most people that I was talking to, like for them, like 3K a month was like, oh yeah, I'm rich now. Like I don't need to work anymore. Like that was like the maximum that they thought was like achievable. Or and like as that being like the limit of like, oh, I'm successful at 3K or like 3.5 whatever. And I always wanted more, and I knew that people that were like successful people that were buying like really expensive cars or big houses like every 3 weeks, you can't be making that small amount of money and having this like big lifestyle. And I knew that also, like, even though it's kind of cliche for people to say, oh yeah, but money doesn't buy you happiness. Well, it depends how you spend it. So um and it's kind of an easy way for people, in the matrix to say, okay, money doesn't buy happiness, just to make it easier for them to cope. Um, but when you see people that are rich that are happy, you're like, you have to question that thought. And that's why I wanted to join the real world, and increase my income and also become independent in the sense that I wasn't relying on a geographically fixed job. So I could be working from anywhere around the globe, and I wanted to have my own team, my own, like, controlled income. I wanted to really to control my income, even if in the first 3 months I was making the same or less than, let's say, a regular job. I knew that in the long run I'll be making much more, and also the independence that I would get from it would be much more rewarding and valuable.
So, what was your living situation like before you joined? Was it normal? Were you struggling in any way?
I wasn't struggling financially, but it wasn't obviously the paradise in the sense that I wasn't making 5, 10 grand a month and or any big money or like flashy cars. Like, I don't have a car, and I was just a regular student, going to school. And my parents help, finance my rent for the apartment. So I've got my own apartment with my brother. But other than that, I wasn't living like a crazy lifestyle, just regular guy doing his studies. But since I joined the real world, I've also like increased considerably my income, and as I said, like become independent, not just from like regular jobs, but also independent from my family or from some friends, that I don't need to rely on if I need to buy something or need to go somewhere, because I can do that through my own means now. And so yeah, that's something that's really, changed my life. The fact that I've been able to, you know, become more autonomous financially helped me just become more autonomous in my whole life, really.
And how did you find out about the real world?
I found out through, so obviously I've been following Tate since 2020. Yeah, he's been like, before he blew up on TikTok. I was watching his Tate Confidentials, him boxing Luke in the living room, and his rants in his Aston Martin, that kind of stuff. Um, but then I came through. I saw a video of a YouTuber, Alex Kong. Obviously he's quite popular right now, and I saw a video of him reviewing the real world. Before it was called HU, obviously. And um, before then, like, I had a look at it, but I didn't think it was like anything special because I hadn't really, looked into detail. But when I saw the big results that these guys that were posting about, and how it was achievable with hard work and with patience, and um, all the materials were given to you. Like, there's no excuse once you're in there to not make money. Well, I was like, well, this is something I need, because actually, like, this can make me financially free, or at least, give me some sense of freedom in the mid to short term. Um, and so that's why I joined. To be honest, I found that most other educational platforms were like messy or old school, and like the content was outdated, and also the people teaching were mostly interested about you paying them and not about the content that they delivered. And so when I saw that the teachers like were already millionaires and like they didn't really need an extra 20K a month, like they were already like set. Um, and I saw the amount of time that they put into the content and the videos and the AMAs and the Q&As and the like and any stuff that they scheduled for the students. I realized that this wasn't just like a average course that I was buying. This was like properly thought out, and also like they had in mind the long term of the students. They weren't thinking of just a quick buck. I'll get your setup. I'll get your fee and then I'll bounce. Like this was like getting better and better each month. More students were coming in. The lessons were getting better, higher quality, more information, more detailed information. And if there was a problem, let's say in the copywriting, for example, let's say Andrew found out that too many people were using the same sequences. Well, then he changed it and then he added extra lessons. Like he didn't give up, and he was always able to self-analyze what the students were doing compared to his work, and also change how he would frame it to better explain how to use the materials. So that aspect was also very valuable for me, because obviously having like an educational platform that's constantly being updated is obviously like very useful compared to something that's after 6 months is completely useless on the internet, to be honest.
Yeah, for sure. Especially in our fast evolving internet age. So I completely agree. You mentioned copywriting. Is that the first campus you went to when you first joined, or did you go to other ones? What was the process?
Yeah, so I think the first day or two I had a look at all the campuses and like just compared like which one was best for me. And because I didn't have much money and I did have some time, but I didn't have the whole day because I had school and I had other ventures. I chose copywriting because I mean I never heard of it actually. I thought copywriting was like all the
Legal
trademarking thing, like
stuff. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that kind of stuff. And then I was like, okay, but they're writing emails, like this is a bit different than what I thought of. And I looked deeper into it, and I quite like writing and big literature, and so the fact that we could like I would say play or use the human psychology and human mind to get people to make decisions like answer emails or look at more into detail into some things just with simple words was quite interesting for me. So that's why I went through copywriting. And so at first I was gonna what I had in mind was to offer copywriting services, obviously through the copywriting campus. So I sent quite a bunch of emails, and I didn't get much replies or positive replies. So, but instead of giving up, because a lot of students that like came in and came out quickly, like they weren't really quality people. They like sent like 50 or 100 emails and they said, okay, this doesn't work. I'm on to something else. But instead of giving up, I was like, okay, I'm going to reframe my offer and like reframe how I use copywriting. So what I did is I launched a marketing business for real estate agents. But I used the copywriting and I also used other lessons from Dylan in the freelancing course for like cold DMing and also like how to frame sales calls and that kind of stuff to like build this like ecosystem of knowledge, I would say, that I can use instead of just using one thread of the real world. So I use both copywriting and the freelancing campus and some extra knowledge that I found online to build I would say, unique business. And that's how I was able to get insane results in the following months, because I was like able to like rethink and reshape and yeah, get back on my feet, even though the first few emails that I sent weren't working. And I think that's the main I would say lesson to take from this is that if something's not working, it's not the email's fault or it's not the prospect's fault, it's your fault. And so you need to think about it, and I'm sure there's a way to reframe it or change it to make it work. So that's what not just with me, but I've seen it with countless students. A lot of them like wanted to give up, but then a lot of other students were motivating them in the chats and like, okay, do an extra 50, and then surprise, in the next 20 emails they sent, they got a new client. So that's always how it works. Is when you at the point where you want to give up the most is when like the extra email just gets you the new client, and that's how you succeed compared to the people who give up.
I like that. How did the community impact you?
What I liked with the community is that you access different chats once you go through new materials and pass quizzes, and therefore at each level, I would say, you're interacting with people that have the same knowledge and the same goals as you. And I mean, that can be the pawn chat, the rook chat, the bishop chat, queen chat in the general server, but also the different legions in the different campuses. I'm talking about freelancing, copywriting, crypto campuses, and in each legion, each level, once you go through the lessons, allows you to like interact with people that have the same knowledge as you, and therefore you're not behind or you're not in front. So like you're not lost, and if people are having difficulties, you can like I would say anticipate those difficulties and also like act upon them before they happen to you. And so you can gain a lot of time than just being on your own. And also when hard time comes, as I said, the fact that people are motivating you because they've already been through what you've been through and that they failed and then they retried and then it worked for them. When they see you failing or like me failing, whoever, but they know that an extra few emails or an extra bit of work will make it work. Well, that's really encouraging because I think most people, when they do their like freelancing or copywriting alone in different educational platforms, they give up quickly because there's not a strong community and it's just like a course that they read or they view online or through a video. But when you've got like a whole community that's pushing and giving you ideas and giving you aspects to check, like new tips and here and there every day, well, it really helps, get through the grind and also put your head down and get the results.
How did the Wins channel affect you? Or did it?
It's kind of a double-edged sword. At first, before I got any good results, I was seeing a lot of people winning in the Wins channel, but on my side, I was sending 100 emails and nothing was working. So at first, I was a bit annoyed, but then, as I said, once I was looking through the chats and how people were talking about, okay, they were in the same spot as me. They saw the Wins chat and they weren't making any money and nothing was working for them. But then they just stuck through it another week or two and they put their head down and they were patient. And then it worked for them. And then surprise, surprise, they are the same. They are the ones giving me advice about just stick your head through it and patience and a few extra emails, a few extra hours of work, and you'll get your first client or your second client or X amount of money you want to hit as a goal. And I think that's the main takeaway from the community is that in any position you're at right now, somebody has been there just before you, and actually not too long ago, maybe just a week or a month before you. And so they are able to give you like concrete and actionable advice. Sorry, that you can act upon, obviously, to change what's not working in your systems.
And it does seem it's a great attribute of the real world, the community, because in this case, they're pushing you to do better, to strive for more. And at the start, you were speaking about your other friends who would just settle with, if they got to 3K, they'd, yeah, settle. So did you notice maybe spending more time with the people in the real world after you joined than with your old friends, or not really?
Yeah, there's a huge mentality shift in the sense that regardless of the number, the goal of the students in the real world is just getting better every day compared to just hitting a goal like a milestone and then just like saying, okay, I'm done now, like giving up. I mean, even the Tate brothers are still working really hard, even though they've got hundreds of millions or even billions of dollars. And so this goes to show that the goal isn't a money milestone, is more of like going through the grind and actually enjoying the work, enjoying getting new clients, enjoying delivering good results. Or same thing for stocks and crypto, to be honest. And that was a big mentality shift compared to, as I said, the other friends that I had before, where their goal was just like a money objective, or like, okay, once I get the X amount or get two clients, I'll be happy, and then that's done. But you quickly find out that if that's your goal, once you hit it, well, you're kind of disappointed because you thought there was something going to be something magical at the end of the rainbow, whereas the true joy and the true happiness was going through the grind and seeing that something didn't work and then you fixed it yourself and then actually it worked after that, and seeing that the fruit of your labor resulted in something that worked is something much more fulfilling than just a money milestone or a X amount of clients. Yeah, so that was the big mindset shift that I had from where I was before the real world and after.
And now going back to the business you built, how is that scaling? How's it that going?
It's going great. So the first client I onboarded, I did all the Facebook ads and all the copywriting myself. But now I have just hired a video editor to do the video editing for the Google Facebook ads, and I've also hired a caller because obviously once you get the leads, you need to filter them and qualify them. So I found somebody that is 21 and he was a real estate agent since 2019, so he's got a bit of experience in that niche as well. So it's kind of funny that surprise surprise once you get together with people with like similar aspirations that you find people with um, um, potential to help you in certain aspects of your business. Whereas if you were just walking randomly, through the streets, even if the person in front of you or next to you had those skills, you wouldn't even know it because you wouldn't talk to them. So the fact that you have access to other students and professors or apprentices like myself that have knowledge or skills that can help you in your business is really helpful as well. Yeah.
Mhm. And now that you're on this trajectory, where do you see your life heading in 6 months to 1 year?
In 6 months, I think I'll be in like I would say the mid five figures. I think I would like to hit like 30, 40, 50K a month. And I think that's actionable because what most people forget is businesses are like an exponential curve in the sense that it can take you 10 months to get your first client, and then it can take you 1 month to get another three. And that's why it can scale that quick. And once you get good team members on your side, where you can delegate the work, that's how you can scale much quicker. And once you get the case studies and the proof of concept, well, it just rolls automatically. So yeah, that's why I'm quite confident I'll be able to hit five figures. I would say in July, August, and end of year. I mean, who knows? Maybe six figures. We'll see.
Great. I'm looking forward to doing a follow up and seeing how you do. Now, back to the real world. What were the three biggest lessons you learned from it, from the real world?
I would say the first one is patience in the sense that I saw a lot of students who actually, I mean, surprisingly, they came and then they left a few weeks later. But it's funny how the people who left because they sent 50 emails and it didn't work are the ones who got no results, and the people who sent 200 emails and stuck through it and got their first client the 300th email. Those are the ones getting the results, and those are the ones who are staying. And the big advantage of having the community is that it like auto filters itself in the sense that people who have a bad mentality and give up, well, they don't access the higher levels of the content and therefore they don't access the higher end chats. And so when you have access to like-minded people that have actually achieved the same things as you, um, that's how you can like really, really improve. And you're not mixed with all, I would say, the people who just expect everything to be delivered on a silver plate. So the first one would be patience. The second one, I would say, would be self-reflection in the sense that most people are arrogant and believe that if it worked in 2 weeks for somebody else, it should work in less than 2 weeks or at least 2 weeks maximum for them. And if within 3 weeks it's not working, well, then it's definitely not their fault. It's the content or something else, or he was cheating or whatever. And the reality is, sorry, some people got their first client in like 3 days, and some people got their first client in 2 months. But nobody got their first client by giving up. And I think that self-reflection and really analyzing the, I would say, the chessboard, as Andrew says, and realizing that if you lost the game, or if emails aren't working, or if the DMs aren't working, or if you can't get good results for your client, it's because you're the problem, not the client, not the applications, not the X, Y, and Z. And I think that's something that's very useful for men, especially, is that if you don't self-analyze, well, then you think you're the best, but you don't have like work to prove your ego. So you always need to be humble and just let the facts speak for themselves. The third one I would say is speed. The third lesson would be speed. Why? Is because well, if you say, okay, I'm going to do this tomorrow, and well, what you mean by tomorrow is I'll do it when I want to do it, which will be never, because if you didn't want to do it today, you won't do it tomorrow. And the fact that, yeah, speed is the difference between winners and losers. It's as easy as that. Somebody who sends 100 emails a day compared to somebody who sends 10 emails a day, that's speed, because he was quicker getting the information, he was quicker delivering the results, and he maybe worked more hours, but all in all, he'll get much more results because he did more work. And speed is the key word, to achieve fast results and something that's stable. And also, on the networking side, when you talk to other students, but other students will respect you for you, like they'll respect your work because they see that you're working quickly and you're getting results, and what you say you do, you'll do it the next day. And if you say, okay, I'll send you this, you send it in the next 5 minutes. You don't wait 3 days before sending it. And that's really appreciated. And people see the value in you and respect you just for that alone.
Very nice answers. Now, for people considering joining the real world, especially if they're younger people, let's say 13 to 14-year-olds, do you think they still can make money from it?
Well, if I remember correctly, there is this young kid. I can't remember his name. I think it's like a Fayim, something like that. He joined HU, I think, like in November 2021. And he was like 13 at the time, and he started, like, he put his head down, and like, I really mean it by, if the teachers or like apprentices told him, okay, do this and you'll be successful, he just did it. Like, he didn't question it. He didn't say, oh yeah, but it's going to take too much time, or oh, I prefer doing this, or I think this is going to work. He just stuck to the advice, like, blindly. So sometimes the dumb and smart scale isn't just a bell curve, it's sometimes a circle where the really smart people actually get similar results to really dumb people, because really smart people know that whatever opinion they have of a certain work, they have to do it because otherwise they won't get the results. And really dumb people, they they don't really think about the consequences. They say, okay, I was told to do this, I'll do this, and then hope for the best. And funny enough, both of them get really good results. Whereas the people in the middle, who are like smart enough to think for themselves, but a bit dumb and think that they're better than other people that have already done it before them and are successful, well, they think that they're too good for the advice, and they think that they don't need it, whereas they have no results to show, which is hilarious. And yeah, that's a key takeaway. I think that people just need to act with speed and just forget about what they think personally, because as I said, even 30, if 13-year-olds can do better work than 25-year-olds or 30-year-olds or 50-year-olds, well, that's not an age problem. That's just a mentality problem. And your mentality can be changed at any age, to be honest.
As Tate says, if you're not these three things, then you'll be able to get rich. And that is not arrogant, dumb, or lazy. If you're neither of those three, then yeah, you'll get rich.
Yeah, it's true.
And now, to clarify about your business, is the 3.5K a month business your main project, or is it something you're doing on the side? There's something else.
I do have other business on the side that aren't related to the real world, but those were, I would say, the fruit as well of my mindset shift. As in, I did join a few other networks, not educational platforms, but just like networking groups, meeting other business people. And because I had already learned, about, through multiple videos about, how to approach, like, with the cold DMs, how to approach people that are more successful than you or have a bigger following, like being humble and just providing value. That allowed me to connect with people that had like big businesses, and I was able to actually help them. I was like, one of them, for example, they mainly work in the UK and the US, but I was like, because I speak French fluently, I can help you work in Switzerland, France, Luxembourg, Belgium, like all these French speaking countries. And they were like, you know what? That's really interesting because that French market is like the third biggest market after the UX and the UK. And I've already closed 2 deals for them in the last 2 weeks. Those are like 20 grand per month deals each. Not for me, but like the total um, value of it. And I mean, that's crazy because like 8 months ago, 10 months ago, when I joined, like before I joined the real world, I wasn't doing any of this. Like I was just at school, just your regular Joe. But now I'm like, slowly but surely doing things that usually 20-year-olds don't do until they're like 50 and they've already got like discovered life or whatever. And so I'm quite enjoying this process because I like being like among the few people that are like being disconnected and but disconnected in a good way. Like when I see other 20-year-olds just party and have no life and are sad over a little text, like that's just not enjoyable for me. So I'm loving the process that I'm going through right now and all the lessons that the real world has taught me.
I'm happy to end it there. Looking forward to see your progress in future. Seem to be a very intelligent person for being this young. I mean, I say this young. I'm same age as you, but I've been, you know, what I've been.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you for your time. Really appreciate it. Where can people contact you?
Simply by messaging me on Instagram at Alexander Thigh Great, with underscores between Alexander and Thigh Great. It'll be written on the screen anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, just message me, and hopefully I'll be able to help you and guide you through this journey.
Great. Could you spell it out as well so I can add it to Rumble description?
ALXANDER underscore THY underscore GR8.
Great. So thank you very much for your time. I wish you all the best and till next time.
It was my pleasure. Thank you very much.